Hello everybody and welcome to my review of the Nissin Di700A. In this review I will discuss the main features and I will also discuss how I found using this flash in real life situations and why in the end I've decided to sell it. One of the first things I noticed when the unit arrived is that it is quite big. It's not huge, but compared to my previous speedlight, the Nikon SP600, it is quite a bit bigger. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because if you're using any sort of like gadgets, like they say the mag mode, the mag mode bounce with which requires the mag grip, you're gonna have troubles putting it on because it's way too small for the actual flash gun. I managed in the end to kind of force it on there, but it's very, as you can see, it's very tight. It does in the end, you can do it, but it's putting a lot of pressure on the speed light. It's probably fine, but it's quite tight. So depending on what other gadgets you got or other accessories you have for your current speed lights, you might want to consider that. It's quite a big chunky unit. It's got on the side there the battery magazine. You just slide it off and you pull it off. It works off 4 AA batteries, and you can buy extra magazines, which is good. If you're doing events, for example, you could just really quickly, if the magazine's ready, just slap on the new magazine and you're good to go. You got your display on the back there, and you got your locking ring here. On the side you're gonna have a 3.5mm sync cable that you can attach it there, and on the other side you have you can use it with a charging pack there. Apparently never done it, so you might want to check that out before you buy anything to go with it. And you got your slave sensor there, and you also have the autofocus assist, which I've never used. You can of course adjust the angle there, up and down, and you can turn it all the way around like that. When I bought this flash, it's because at the time I was using a Nikon SP600, which is a great flash, a bit old, but it does the job brilliantly. The only thing is it does not have an inbuilt receiver, which means that with the Nikon SP600, if you want to use it with, say, off camera, you will have to buy a transmitter and receiver and connect them. And I think what really attracted me to this unit here, to the Di700A, is that it's got an inbuilt receiver. All you have to do is buy the commander, the Air one, and you can just connect them, and it's really easy. So at the time I used to do a mixture of both events, corporate events, parties, and also I was doing outdoors portraiture, where I needed to have a small portable unit that can be used easily as an off-camera flash. So I thought, what, that's brilliant, perfect, I'm gonna get that one. Now in terms of features, let me show you really quickly. So you got a dial there, you got the power button and the set button. So once you power it on, you're gonna see it's got manual mode. All you have to do, click on set, and you can then go to fully automatic there. Then you're gonna have TTL, which of course you can adjust the exposure there. You see, you got exposure compensation there, and then you got manual. So you fully manual there. What I love about it is with the dial, it's really easy to use. Just literally turn it up, turn it down. It takes 1 second, set, and you're done. And then you click set again. You can change. You got a couple of slave flash modes there, the SD and SF. That should be that is slave digital and slave film. I'll be honest, I never use them because once again you do have the commander there, so I've never seen the reason to use any of those other modes. And the one I would normally use when I was using it as an off-camera flash is the you can see the wireless icon there. That's the one. So you've got 3 different groups there, A, B, and C. You can just set the group, say group A, and you can connect it with your remote. I'm going to show you now how to do that, and you can just use it really easily as an off-camera flash, which is great. And now let me turn it off. Now when you want to connect it with the Air 1 commander, it's really easy. All you have to do, you grab your unit, first of all your speed light, and you press both set and the power button together, hold them. It will start beeping. If you've got more than one unit, do the same thing with all of them until they're all beeping. Then you grab your Air 1 commander, and all you do, same thing, the set button and the power one, hold them. It's gonna start flashing and the beeping will stop, and you are now connected. Now from the Air Commander mode, you can set a couple of different modes. So if you click on mode there, you're gonna go from that's the zoom mode. I've never actually used this, so you might, you wanna gonna check that out. Maybe on the manual they should explain exactly what you do with it, but it's not something that I've ever felt the need of using. You've got TTL at the top there. You can see changes both on the unit and and also on the commander there. Press again, you go manual, and once again the zoom mode there. Now to change, you see you got A, B and C groups. Now to change the exposure, you press set, and you see now the group A is flashing, so it's changing group A, up and down, there you go. You press again, you're gonna select group B, press again group C, press again, you change them all together. If you want to turn one of them off, as an example, you want to turn off B and C, you're not using them, you don't care about those, you just press the power button when the selected group is flashing, press that, and it turns the B off, and we can then turn C off as well. And now we are just using A. So we're only using one group now. It makes it a bit easier if you only work with one group. So when you press set, it goes directly, it's already directly on the group you're actually interested in changing the exposure for. Once again, manual. So that's manual. You got the TTO there. You can adjust the exposure compensation for that as well. You're gonna see it there. And it's also going to have different channels. All you have to do to get to the channels, you press the mode and set together. You hold them, and you see now I'm on channel 1, and you can change to whichever channel you want to go to, and you're going to select your channel there. So you've got 8 channels, and you've got 3 different groups, A, B and C. Really, really easy to use. I love that. And so you also have a button there that you can use to test the flash. You press that, as you can see, boom. Now the indicator light there, it shows green now, that means it's ready to fire. If it's not ready, for example, say if you push up the power on the unit, let's push it to full power. Okay, so you do one test shot. You see it goes red, and it's now recharging. It takes about 4 seconds to full power, and it's back to green. You can now shoot again. You can also test it using this one directly on the unit. Boom, same thing there. Let's now turn it down a bit. Okay, done that. If you want to mount it on the camera, all you have to do is a lock push button on the back there. So you just pop it on there, push that, and it goes right in. It's really easy, I really like that. It's really easy to use, and it's really quick. Push it back now. When you push that, you're gonna see the pin that goes down there, like in most of commanders and most triggers, and that goes down and allows you to then push the commander on the hot shoe there. If you want to mount let me turn off the commander now. If you want to use it as an on-camera flash, all you have to do, let me remove the shoe there. You've got a lock ring here, and I love that because it's very simple. It might not be the quickest way to lock it on, but it's just very simple. You just slide it on, and then you turn the lock until it's nice and tight there. Simple as that. Now, the reason why I like that is because I had an issue with my Nikon SP600, and that's the reason why I couldn't use it anymore, which is that the pin that it's got on there, when the lock broke, the Nikon's got a lock, you just need to push it sideways there, and it broke, and I could not get the speed light off my camera. I literally had to open up the flash while it's still mounted on the camera to be able to access the inside of it and get the pin to disengage. So in a way, even though most flash guns and most triggers will have the pin system, I do quite like the fact that Nissin instead has got this different type of lock, which is, well, less risky in my opinion. Now, in terms of specs, according to the manufacturer, this flash has got a recycling time of 0.1 at minimum power and 4 seconds at full power. Now, let me show you. Now, let me put it at full power. Now, let's do one test flash. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 4 seconds. That is quite long to wait when you're working, but most times you won't be using the full power. So if you set it now as say half power and you shoot off a few flashes, you see that is fine. What I've noticed, however, is that after a few flashes, the recycling time goes up quite a bit, to the point that it's difficult to work with it because it becomes really slow. And it does say in the manual there, if the recycling time goes, I believe, upwards of say 30 seconds, then you need to replace the batteries. But my thing is, in all the occasions in which that happened, which is pretty much every time you use it, I was using, I had fully charged batteries on there, fresh batteries, and then I don't see why that's happening. And it's really difficult to work in that situation. And the other thing that actually happened once is that it's literally stopped working for must have been about 15 minutes. I then checked the manual and realized that there's a function that to prevent it from overheating after say 20, 30 flashes or whatever. Bear in mind, it happened once, so I don't think it's always. But yeah, to prevent it from overheating, it just shuts off really. And it just, you're gonna see the indicator light there going off, I think, every 1.5 seconds or something like that. And yeah, you just need to wait before you can use it again, which if you're doing a job with a customer, it's not ideal. You need something that works. So my point is, if you're doing, for example, like parties, events, you know, I've done parties with my Nikon SB600, which is a quite old flash, which is a quite old, you know, speed light, but still, it was working no problem. We were shooting one flash after the other because, you know, that's the way it works with parties. You know, it's just a fast-moving environment. You just need to take the photo when the occasion presents itself. You can't just, oh no, sorry, I'm just waiting for the flash now. And the Nikon one worked perfectly. Never had any issues. With this one, I'd never done any parties, but I remember once I was literally doing a couple of family photos where I was shooting it off a wall just nearby, just beside me, and after a bunch of flashes, no more. It just will shut itself off, and that was it. And for about 15 minutes, it was you just had to wait really. And I wasn't shooting that many flashes, and it wasn't even on full power. So that to me was like, yeah, that's just, you know, just you can't work with it. I did do some off-camera flash. There was some outdoor portraiture with a customer where I was just on an umbrella, on a light stand with an umbrella. The photos were brilliant. It was really easy to use it. So I suppose if you are pacing yourself, you just do some portraiture, and you're not on full power, you are probably fine. And I did get some great photos. I was happy. It was easy to use, no problem there. But my thing is, if you need to do professionally, you need something that you can trust. And I don't think I can trust this flash. So I would definitely not recommend it for, well, for parties, events, definitely not for weddings. If you just need something portable, say you're shooting outdoors, and in some occasions you might have need of a flash gun to use as an off-camera flash, then say, yeah, go with it, buy it, it's fine. But you know, if you need it professionally, I don't think I would recommend it. If you're an enthusiast who wants to, you know, test it out, learn a bit more about, you know, off-camera flash and experiment and use it with family, etc., it's fine. But for a professional use, and definitely I wouldn't recommend it. Definitely not for parties. Now it's a pity because the interface is really nice. It's really easy to work with. I really like it. And Nissin does produce also some more expensive units, so maybe you might want to check those ones out, but I never tried it myself, so I couldn't really say. All I can say is that the interface is easy to use. I really like the flash, but it's not reliable because the recycling times go up too much when, you know, even just after a bunch of flashes, and then it starts misfiring, so I can't work with it, unfortunately. Okay, so overall, it's a nice little unit. You know, it's really easy to use. It's very intuitive. It's extremely easy to connect it with the Air 1 commander. and I love the fact that it's got you know, an inbuilt receiver, so it makes it really easy to use it as an off-camera flash. The issue though is that I don't feel like it's quite reliable enough. If you're using it professionally, it's definitely not reliable enough to do you know, a wedding or a party where you need to shoot off loads of flashes one after the other. Mainly because the you know, the recycling times will just go up, and do have the risk that the unit will just, you know, shut off and stop working for about 15 minutes, which to me is just not something that I could work with if you're doing any sort of, you know, event. In terms of, you know, portraiture, if you need something to use sometimes, you know, when you're working outdoors and to do a couple of photos with off-camera flash and you're pacing yourself, you know, working you know, at the full output, then you're probably fine. But once again, if you need it professionally, I don't know whether I could recommend it. I don't think I would really. If you're an enthusiast who just wants to, you know, experiment with off-camera flash without you know, having to spend a fortune, yeah, definitely buy one. Or if you just want to do some family photos, I'm sure it'll be fine. You can work with that. But once again, for professional use, I can't really recommend it. And when you're looking at buying an off-camera flash or something that can, or a speed light that can double as both on-camera and off-camera flash, you need to look at what you need it for in the end. In terms of, if you do mainly weddings, you will likely need something that can be both mounted on the camera and off the camera, something small, portable. So you might look at Nikon possibly instead, or maybe look at the more expensive versions of models that Nissin makes, but I never tried them, so I couldn't really say whether they're better or not. Portraiture has got a really good option as well there, but once again I never tried it, so once again check that one out. Of course the prices will go up. This one here you can grab for about £170, just the speed light, and I think it's about £200 the speed light plus the one commander. Whereas say a Nikon flash gun, you're going to be looking to spend about £500–600, and I believe the Portraiture one that goes up to it's about £1,000. So of course it's much more expensive, but if you need them to work, you need something that can, you know, you can work with in a professional way, you're gonna have to spend the money, get something that's actually reliable. The alternative you have, like I've done in the past, you can buy them used, like the SP600. You can find them for about, you know, £70 or so. So that could be a better option. But then, being older units, they won't be as easy to be used as off-camera flashes, because you're going to have to start buying, you know, triggers and receivers, and that becomes a bit annoying. What I did in my case, but that's because I now do mainly commercial work. I don't do many events anymore. I bought myself the Eddington one, which is, yes, much more expensive because it's about £750 plus the remote is £230, but I needed something reliable, and it does what I needed to do. But once again, there's other options that are there, and it will all depend on what you need the flash gun for. So first of all, look at what your needs are, and then have a look around and see what you can find, really. I hope you guys have found the review more helpful. And do let me know should you have any questions, and I will see you guys in the next review. See ya!